Beautiful morning, my dear children. Welcome back to our English class. So, children, I welcome you all once again after your monthly test. Yes, today we are going to start chapter number 10 in English. And the name of the chapter is The Name of a Bird. Yes, you all eat eggs, isn't it? Where do we get eggs from? Yes, from the hen. Yes, our topic is also the same. The Hen by Hector Hugh Munro. Okay, so first to start with the topic, we'll just see about the author. So, children, he is author Hector Hugh Munro. So, he is better known by the pen name Saki and also frequently as H.H. Munro. And he was a British writer whose witty, mischievous, and sometimes macabre stories satirize Edwardian society and culture. So, he started his career as a journalist writing for the Westminster Gazette. So his first book, The Rise of the Russian Empire, was published in the year 1900 and it was followed by a collection of short stories and not so stories in 1902. So he was born on December 18, 1870 in Myanmar, okay, and he died on November 13, 1916 in France. So already you know his nickname. His nickname is H.H. Munro and his full name is Hector Hugh Munro. And he did his education in Bedford School. Okay, so that's about the author. Now to the lesson. So now let's see the characters in the story, children. So first is Mrs. Sangrail, mother of Clovis, and Clovis, son of Mrs. Sangrail. And the troublesome guest is Jane Martlet. Dora, the daughter of Mrs. Sangrail and sister of Clovis, and Mr. Sturridge, the butler, and the special character, the hen, which is bronze leghorn. It is a kind of breed of hens, okay? It is a breed of hen. So these are the main characters involved in the story, the hen. So children, this is festival season, isn't it? So we all usually enjoy our relatives or someone who is coming to our house, isn't it? We used to spend together. But sometimes we feel that that is only few relatives, when they come to our house, they'll be creating some nuisance. They'll be creating some unnecessary problems. So what do we feel that time? We feel that better they are out of our house, isn't it? Like the same feeling is expressed here in the story. Okay, so here Mrs. Sangrail has a troublesome guest at her house. Troublesome means he's giving some difficulties to the people in the house. So another guest is due to arrive, and can her son Clovis convince the troublesome guest to leave without his mother's knowledge? Okay, so now let's watch the story The Hen by Saki.
The Hen. Clovis chuckled as he discussed the rather awkward situation which his mother had placed herself in. They already had a rather difficult guest in their house in the person of Jane Martlet. She had been there for 5 days and would probably not leave before a fortnight. Another of Mrs. Sangrail's friends, Dora, was supposed to join their house party that very Thursday. The problem was that Jane and Dora, who had been good friends earlier, no longer saw eye to eye with each other. And it was all because of a hen which was a bronze leghorn or of some such exotic breed. Dora had sold it to Jane at quite a high price. Jane thought she would get her money back in a large family of pedigree chickens, but the bird refused to lay eggs and Jane was disappointed. Jane and Dora could not stop arguing whenever they confronted each other. Mrs. Sangrail decided that she could not put Dora off since she had already postponed her visit once, and nothing short of a miracle would make Jane leave before her self-allotted fortnight was over. There was no way in which they could avoid meeting each other. Clovis offered to try his best. At tea time, Clovis remarked to Jane that servants who had been around for years could become a serious nuisance. Their butler Sturridge, for instance, was at times subject to the most obstinate delusions. These delusions usually centered around one of the guests of the house party. Occasionally, these ideas took a turn which could become dangerous, and that was what was precisely worrying him at the moment. Clovis confided in Jane that Sturridge had taken a fancy about her. He thought of Jane as being Queen Anne, and consequently thought that she should have been dead long ago. This, according to Clovis, made him hostile towards her. So, it was necessary that she keep a sharp lookout all the time and be on her guard. Clovis had his final inspiration in the hall the next morning. Hearing that Miss Martlet was in the morning room writing letters, he told Sturridge that she had wanted to copy the inscription on the basket-hilted sword hanging on the wall. He asked Sturridge to take it to her without the sheath, since it would be less trouble. The butler drew the blade and carried the sword to the morning room. Seeing him with the unsheathed sword, Jane remembered all that Clovis had told her and vanished through the door leading to a back stairway with lightning rapidity. Half an hour later, Clovis was seen driving Jane Martlet and her hastily packed baggage to the station. Clovis assured her that he would make up a credible story to his mother about Jane having been called away by an urgent wire. However, Clovis's effort proved useless, as Dora wrote the same day to say that she was postponing her visit.
Now let's have a reading practice. Now take page number 58 in your English text. Okay, children? Now keep your fingers and read along with me with proper stress, pause and intonation. Okay? The Hen by Hector Hugh Munro. So this next Thursday, asked Clovis, and his mother nodded. You've rather done it, haven't you? He chuckled. Here chuckle means laughing quietly and softly. And Jane Martlet has only been here 5 days and she never stays less than a fortnight. And you'll never get her out of the house by Thursday. Why should I? Asked Mrs. Sangreel. She and Dora are good friends, aren't they? They used to be as far as I remember. So they used to be. That's what makes them all the more bitter now. So, but what has happened? Has someone has been making mischief? Not exactly, said Clovis. A hen came between them. A hen? What hen? So it was a bronze leghorn or some such exotic breed, and Dora sold it to Jane at a rather exotic price. Exotic here means foreign, which is purchased outside. So here exotic price means here a high price. Okay, so Jane thought she was going to get her money back in large family of pedigree chickens, that is chickens of good breed. So the bird turned out to be an abstainer from the egg habit. Okay, so here abstainer means the bird did not lay any eggs here. And how ridiculous, said Mrs. Sangreel. It is a most awkward situation. Awkward here means uneasy situation. Do you suppose they won't speak to one another? On the contrary, the difficulty will be to get them to leave off. To leave off here means to stop the argument. So I can put Dora off, said Mrs. Sangreel. So I have already postponed her visit once, and nothing short of a miracle would make Jane leave before her self-allotted fortnight is over. So she's saying I cannot send her out because I already postponed. It means they have shifted the visit once, and nothing short of a miracle would make Jane leave before her self-allotted fortnight is over. Whenever she decides only, she will leave. So let me try my best, said Clovis. So children, this is the hen, bronze leghorn, which Dora sold it to Jane at a exotic price, at a very high price. Okay, what is the name of the hen? Bronze leghorn. How beautiful it is, isn't it? So children, take page number 59. Yes, servants are a bit of nuisance, muttered Clovis talking to Jane Martlet at tea time. Here muttered means speaking in a low voice. So I don't see what you have to explain of, exclaimed Jane. Here exclaim means shouting, okay, having with a high voice. So your mother is so wonderfully lucky in her servants, and Sturridge, for instance, has been with you for years. So that's just the trouble, said Clovis. So who's Clovis? Yes, son of Mrs. Sangreel. And who's Sturridge, children? Sturridge is a servant, okay. So it's when the servants have been with you for years that they become a really serious nuisance. So it was Turner I was particularly thinking of when I made the observation about servants being a nuisance. Who said this? Clovis, okay. The excellent Sturridge nuisance, I can't believe it, said Jane Martlet. I know he is excellent and we just couldn't get along without him. But his orderliness here means the habit of being disciplined and organized in everything what he does has had an effect on him. Have you ever wondered what it must be like to go on doing the correct thing in the correct manner in the same surroundings for a long time? It is usually a good sign, isn't it? So, but he wants to somehow get Jane out of the house. So he keep on saying all these things. Okay, children. So I should go mad, said Jane. Exactly, said Clovis thoughtfully. But Sturridge hasn't gone mad, said Jane with a flutter of inquiry. That is, she was questioning a lot, okay, in her voice. And on most points, he's thoroughly sane and reliable. Sane here means sensible and reliable. You can rely upon the person. But at times, he is subject to the most obstinate delusions. Here means stubbornness and false belief. And on those occasions, he becomes not merely a nuisance, but a sure of embarrassment. What do you mean by embarrassment? Feeling ashamed or shy. So she is asking now, what sort of delusions? Unfortunately, they usually center around one of the guests of the house party. So now he is bringing this Jane Martlet closer and closer to get out of the house. Okay, now next page. So now page number 60. You don't mean to say he might be dangerous, do you? Asked Jane with some anxiety. So with some stress, he is asking what is much wrong in that. So one can never be certain, said Clovis. Now and then he gets more idea about a guest which might take an unfortunate turn. So that is precisely what is worrying me at the present moment. So what has been taken a fancy about someone here now? Asked Jane excitedly. So do tell me who it is. You, said Clovis briefly. Me? Clovis nodded. Who on earth does he think I am? Queen Anne was the unexpected answer. Queen Anne? What an idea! But anyhow, there's nothing dangerous about her, and she is such a colorless personality. The only thing that I can remember about her is the Queen Anne's saying that Queen Anne's dead. Exactly, said Clovis, dead. Do you mean he takes me for the ghost of Queen Anne? Asked Jane. Ghost? Dear no, no one ever heard of a ghost being so very much alive and flourishing. All his life he has been accustomed to look on Queen Anne as the personification of everything that is dead and done with. As dead as a Queen Anne, you know. And now he has to listen to your talks of the merry time, happy time you had at Dublin horse show, and naturally he feels that something is very wrong with you. But he wouldn't be hostile to me on the account, would he? Jane asked anxiously. So I didn't get really alarmed about it till lunch today, said Clovis. I caught him glowering at you and muttering. Glowering means looking angrily, and muttering you all know, speaking in a low voice. Ought to be dead long ago. That's why I mentioned the matter to you. This is awful, said Jane. Your mother must be told about it at once. And my mother mustn't hear a word about it, said Clovis earnestly. It would upset her dreadfully, very badly, and she relies on Sturridge for everything. So Jane Martlet wants to tell Clovis' mother about everything, about Sturridge. But what Clovis is saying, no, if she hears me, she'll be feeling very bad. So okay, but he might kill me at any moment, protested Jane. Not at any moment, he is busy with the silver all the afternoon. So what do you mean by busy with silver? Cleaning silver cutlery and other silver articles in the house. So you all have to keep a sharp lookout all the time and be on your guard, said Jane. It's a dreadful situation to be in with a bad butler around you, but I'm certainly not going to cut my visit short. So it was in the hall the next morning after a late breakfast that Clovis had his final inspiration as he stood removing rust spots from an old putter. Here putter is nothing but a stick of club used to hit a golf ball. Okay. So where is Miss Martlet? He asked Sturridge. who was at that moment crossing the hall. So, writing letters in the morning room, said Sir Sturridge. Okay, so he's asking what is Jane Martlet doing? So the Martlet is writing something in her morning room, said Sturridge. So she wants to copy the inscription on the old basket, hit its sabre, said Clovis, pointing to the sword hanging on the wall. So seeing this, what happens? You would have scared and should have run away, isn't it? Yes, now take page number 61. So I wish you would take it to her. My hands are all over in oil. Take it without the sheath, it will be in less trouble. So the butler drew the sword and carried it into the morning room. And there was a door near the writing table leading to a back stairway. And Jane vanished through it with such lightning rapidity. That means with great swiftness. At once she just moved out, okay, that the butler doubted whether she had seen him come in. So half an hour later, Clovis was driving Jane Martlet and her hastily packed luggage to the station. So mother will be awfully vexed, thoroughly annoyed when she finds you have gone, he observed to the departing guest. But I'll make up some story about an urgent wire having called you away. So no need to alarm her unnecessarily about Sturridge. So Jane sniffed slightly at Clovis' ideas of unnecessary alarm. So however, Clovis' effort proved useless as Dora wrote the same day that she was postponing her visit. Okay. So now again Dora postponed her visit. So see what all is happening because of a guest. Okay, children, that's all. Story is over. Now, simple comprehension is given there in your book. So, first one, Jane Martlet usually stayed at Mrs. Sangrail's house for a fortnight. Next, Mrs. Sangrail could not put Dora off because, he had already postponed her visit once. Next, Clovis told Jane that Sturridge was a nuisance. Fourth one, Clovis told Jane that Sturridge believed she was the ghost of Queen Anne or Queen Anne. Yes, Clovis told Jane that Sturridge believed that she was Queen Anne. Okay. So next you have question answers in grammar part. Grammar part we'll be discussing during the Zoom class, and question answers I'll be sending you along with your assignment. Okay, children. So write it neatly in your classwork. So children, write your classwork neatly with legible handwriting, okay? Have a great day, children. Thank you and be safe.